Okay, so double stops. So that's when you're playing two strings at the same time. All right, and it comes from the old term stopping the strings, because back in the 1700s they didn't say fingering the strings, they said stopping the strings, and that's where the term double stop comes from. And I love that idea because it really is what you're doing with your finger. You're not pounding your finger down and clamping it like a guitar. You're kind of poking the note a little bit with a gentle pressure so that it gives it a little hug and it stops it from vibrating. See what I mean? And that's what the term stopping the strings, double stop, means stopping two strings. Okay? So, well, first of all, though, we're going to do double stops on just our open strings. We're not going to involve any fingers in double stops for now. Okay? But what we're going to do first is we're going to try playing the open strings on their own, and then we're going to play the double stops that you use to tune your violin. Okay? Have I ever explained exactly how you're supposed to tune your violin to you guys so far? Like, I know you're kind of on your own, and I might have mentioned it a little bit. And one thing about tuning your violin that I like to remind people of is that I couldn't properly tune my violin until I was about 12 or 13. I started when I was 6 or 7. I can't actually remember when I started. All I remember was my mom said to me, "What are you going to play, Danny? You're 6 now. You got to start playing something." And I said, "I think I'll play the spoons." And she said, "You can't do anything with the spoons. You have to play the fiddle." And so I did. So that was the way it was. But anyway, so it took me many years before I could properly tune my fiddle. And all I remember is that I would think that I had it in tune and then give it to my brother Sean, and he would be, "Oh no, it's not in tune yet." And he'd keep at it until it was. And then it wasn't until I was 12 or 13 that I could do it. Here is the proper way that you tune your violin. So first of all, I'm going to put my tuner on. And you guys don't have to do this, but I'd really like you to know the method of tuning your violin so you can have a crack at it sometime and start to understand about double stops. And that's why I'm talking about this. So the proper way to tune your violin is the oboist of the orchestra, and I know her here in Toronto, Sarah. She had the same baby doctor as us. She's a very, very nice woman. And I asked her about this. So she plays the A for the orchestra. She sits down and she plays the A. And all the violinists don't even bother to check their A. They just automatically detune it, flatten it, and bring it up until they meet that oboe sound. So I'm going to kind of mimic that by putting on my tuner here. There it is. You hear that? That's the oboe. Okay? I see a bunch of nodding heads there. That's great. So everybody heard those two pitches come together there? Yeah, that's good. And like I said, they don't even bother to check. They always just automatically flatten it and bring it up until it matches because they have the same effect you guys just got where it clicks in and you have no doubt. See what I mean? And then the oboe finishes playing her A and you hear the strings start doing this. Now listen to this. Okay, Joanne, you got it. So did everybody hear those two pitches come together? The perfect fifth? See that? I'm going to do it again. So here's my A. Okay, now I'm going to detune that D. You hear that terrible crunch? Now I'm going to bring it in. Everybody hear that come together? Yeah? I'm going to do it again, but this time on the lower string. So now I'm going to play. I know my D is in tune, because I just tuned it. Now I'm going to bring the G in. So first it's out of tune. Oh, God. Now I'm going to bring it in. Everybody hear that come together? It was pretty apparent to my ear because it went wah, 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 like that. Now here's the E. Oh, oh. Everybody hear that come together? Yeah. That's how you're supposed to tune your violin. Okay? You tune the A to a tuner or the oboe if you're a violinist in an orchestra. Then you tune your D to your A using the double stop. Then you tune your G to your D using the double stop. And then your E to your A in the same way. Okay? And that's the proper way to tune your violin. If you get your violin in tune like that in fifths, then it's going to be properly ringing like a bell. Okay? Now, to play double stops. So, I started off with the A and the D one. My fiddle went out a little tiny bit there. Okay, that's better. So, A and D double stop. Here's what it should sound like when it's done properly. Everybody hear how those two notes are ringing out properly and cheerily and nice? Now here's when I play a double stop and I have too much weight on one string or the other. Because you guys now know, by now, the difference in how much weight you put on the A string versus the D versus the G and almost none for the E, right? You guys are starting to get onto that. So when you play two strings, you have to kind of split the difference. See that? You got to put the weight that you need on for the one string and leave a little bit for the other. Now when you don't get it right, it sounds like this. Now you see how I'm making myself flat? Do you hear that? The bow digging in too much on the D string there and flattening the whole thing. See that? So you have to kind of, you split the difference with your hand and you get that bow ringing on both strings so it sounds like this. Okay? And then for the D and the G, it's a little different touch. Here it is when it's not working. See that? And I'm going to tell you, it's really hard. I'm finding it hard to do improper double stops with this beautiful bow. That's what's nice about a nice bow, is that I could hold this thing with a boxing glove and it would still do a pretty good job. You know, it's amazing. Now, here's the A and the E. Nice and cheery. Here when I heave in too much. See that? Flat, flat, flat. Especially the E, because it's so susceptible to that pressure. Okay? So everybody, why don't you give it a try? We're going to do the A and D double stop. So you're going to put your bow on both the A and the D string, and you're going to try to split the difference with that weight and go right from one end of the bow to the other like this. Okay, now, how are we getting along? Are people getting the sound from each string is working pretty good? Kinda. It's going to take some work. Now, let's mess around now with the D and the G double stop, okay? Should sound like this. I'm actually seeing people try to finesse between those two strings with the hand, and it looks great, I gotta tell you. So it's what I like is I'm seeing this type of adjustment rather than this. So it's really, really good, okay? Now the G and the D one, easy to choke off because they're so loose. So you really have to use motion rather than weight. Okay? One of the common misconceptions about double stops is that to get two strings, you press down until your bow touches both strings. but that's not how you do it. It's all about angle, okay? Now, let's try the hardest one. A and E together. Okay, so that's the A and the E. Now, give me some feedback. How are you getting along with your double stops? Who finds it hard? How come you find it hard? Etc.
I find I get either one string or the other, but not both.
Okay.
Except accidentally.
Yes, okay. So you know what that tells me, Catherine, is that when you're going to get that other string, you're making too big of a move. And it could be coming from your elbow. Okay? A tiny move at elbow level is a huge move at string level. It's enough to put you on another string that you don't even want to be on. So you have to try to use this. This is what I call my tiller. You have to try to use this rather than this. And if you're overshooting, it tells me that the arm is in the game a little bit. Okay? How about you, Deborah?
Yeah, I was finding the same thing. I'd start off with two, and then all of a sudden one would be really dominant.
Yes.
And the second one almost non-existent. And
yes.
I don't know if it's my wrist or my angle.
It's the arm. It's the same thing. So that means that you're doing pretty good, say, until about here, and then it's kind of like, see that?
Yeah, I think so.
Very, very common. So anyway, so that's just keep that elbow. If you want to use your doorway, it's always good to calm down that elbow, but just try to make the adjustments here rather than here. Okay? Anybody else have feedback about their double stops? Okay, so now let me show you how they had us practice them in Suzuki. Okay? They would get us to play one string, let's start with the G string, down bow on the G string, and then they get us to angle the bow until we're touching the D and then keep going. See that? Very gently angling the bow until you're also on the D and then do the both of them. It sounds like this. See that? That way you discover the angle you need. And you can also do it up, which is almost harder. See that? That's how you do it. So let's do that together, guys. So we're going to play the G, and we're going to move until you join it with the D. And I remember when I first started doing it when I was a kid, I was down here, but by the time I finally found that other string, you know, I always liken it to trying to go down a ladder backwards, and your foot knows the rung is there, but it seems like it's a mile away, you know? So anyway, let's give it a go. So we're going to do a down bow on the G, and then join the D. Ready, go. Okay, let's do another one. Ready, go. One more for the look. Ready, go. Oh yeah, okay. Now let's do the D and the A. Same thing except a different touch. Ready, go. Do it again. Yeah, that one was good for me. One more. Yeah. Okay, now we'll do the A and the E. Ready, and. Yeah. That one was not so good for me. I'm going to get sitting better. That's better. One more. Yeah. Now, something to remember about the A and the E, I've talked about this before, but the fact that they have two different planes of motion is really important when you're trying to do a double stop on them. You really have to try to find that middle ground between moving the bow straight up and down for the E and off to the side for the A. You see that? So that's why it's more problematic, okay? Let's do them once more, starting on the G. Ready, and... Oh, yeah. Oh, these strings are new as well. Well, not that new, but... Oh, that's great. This bow is so beautiful. D and A. Ready, and... Yep. Okay, yep. Now let's do A and E. And really try to use your whole bow too, guys. Ready, and... One more. Okay. All right, now how are we getting along? Anybody desperately having a lot of trouble doing this thing? For any reason?
I'm having trouble tuning the E string.
Ooh.
For me, when I'm trying to tune, I would like to start with these little guys, but it's so off that I have to use the big packs.
Really?
Yes. It doesn't do much for me if I try to tune them with these.
Okay, first of all, can you hold your fiddle up to the camera so I can see how much room you got on your tuning, on your fine tuners?
Oh.
So a little bit, angle it a little. So you're at the bottom of your fine tuners there, Katja, and that's why. So what you're going to have to do is hard. I don't suggest doing it right now. I'm sorry. But you're going to have to let all those fine tuners out as far as you can, right? And then use the pegs to get them in. Give yourself some more tuning room, okay? Now let me hear your E string. Play your E string for me.
I think it's the wrong octave or something.
Let's hear it.
I fix it.
It's an E flat. It just needs to come up a semitone. So you might as well do it on your peg. Give it, like, say, just a nudge on your peg.
But it says E5. Is that the correct one?
Yep, that's the right one, but it's E flat.
I see.
So you just a half step, not too far. Do it on your peg. Do it on your peg. Still, you're going to have to do it with your peg. So,
oh, sorry.
That's okay. So notch it up a bit with your peg. Careful. We don't want to have the same thing that happened to Heather happen.
That's right. So I have to tighten it just a tiny bit.
That's right. That's right. Give it a little nudge.
I know. I feel so...
I know.
Oh, my gosh. And that's the tricky part because it's very difficult to just do it a tiny bit.
It is.
I did too much.
That's okay because you can loosen the fine tuner.
I think I have to tighten this now.
Okay. You try that one.
A bit too much.
Yeah. Getting there.
Getting there. Okay.
Little tiny bit, just a half a turn.
Okay.
Let's hear that.
That's pretty good.
Good job.
Oh, thanks.
No problem. But yeah, at some point you should do that.
Tuning is still hard, you know. I'm getting better at it, but when you're doing these double stops, that means you have to have all the single strings in tune first, right?
Well, yeah.
While
Oh yeah. You can, of course. That's how I tune the violin, but that's another skill. So that's turning the tuner while you're playing. See that? And it's really the best way because you have to have the regular motion of the bow on the string to get an accurate reading on your tuner, you know? So it's really the most direct way to tune your violin once you get the hang of turning the thing while you're bowing. That's for a lot of people. This
so far away from that. Oh,
this is how you do it. Look, see that? That's how you do it. So we'll make little cracks at it there, Katja, until you get the hang of it. Okay? Yeah.
Thanks.
And if you need help with that loosening of your fine tuners and tightening of your pegs, drop me a line and we can Zoom and I can give you a hand, okay? Yeah.
Super.
Yeah. Good question, though. Anybody else having any unidentifiable? Yes, Bill.
Yeah, that's not a problem, but when I played my guitar, right, and now I'm playing the fiddle,
Yeah.
so I'm trying to tune the strings. So I'm tuning the other strings, not bad. The E string broke. You know, it's like tuning guitar. You turn it like that.
Yeah.
With the fiddle, you start fooling around, especially with the E string, because it's very easy to break it.
Yes, and that's the
So
most
I haven't
common
broken
thing.
one. I haven't broken any more, but I was like, oh my God, what's going on here?
Yeah, the E string, first of all, even when it's in tune, it's tighter than the other strings all put together. It's so tight. It has more torque down on the bridge than all the other strings put together. So it's really easy to tighten it too much. It also is a bare piece of metal with no winding. Have you ever noticed that? The other strings have a flat winding around them of metal, but the E string is bare. It's just a bare string of metal. Okay, so that's why it's so susceptible to that. So I'm glad you haven't broken one in a while, Bill. Keep at it, man. You'll get the touch with the E string. It is a lot different than guitar, because guitar you have to turn that machine many times to get it to come up, right? Yeah. Anyway, great. Okay, let's try one more time with the double stops there, guys, and then we're going to try the up bow ones as well. Okay, so we'll start with the down bow one, starting with the D to the A, because that's their main tuning one, and then we'll do G. So here we go, starting on D, joining up with A. Ready, and... Okay, try the G. Ready, go. Yeah. And then the E, A. So we start on the A. Ready, go. Okay. Now let's try going up. So we're going to start on the A and join the D. It's harder. Believe me. Let's try it again. Oh, that looks good. Everybody look good with that one. Try one more. Yeah, okay. Now let's try D to the G on the up bow. Starting on D, joining up with G. One more. Ooh, I had a good belt there with the last one there. One more. That's what you call a belt when I drastically speed up my bow and it almost plucks the string. It's very scotchy. See that? Get a nice little rise out of it. Now we'll do the E to the A. Up bow on the E, join the A. Yeah. Do it again. One more. Oh, I got a nice little belt hat there at the end of that one too. So it looks like you're doing pretty good. Nobody looks very frustrated at all. Doing pretty good? Okay, we'll look at them again next week. That's the way to practice them. Okay, start on one string, join the other. If it's a down bow, then you're doing this. If it's an up bow, then you're doing this to join the other string. Okay? Now, let's see. We're going to play Danny Boy, so why don't we try our D major scale? Okay? D major scale in an octave and a half. Whew. Geez, we're leaving for Nova Scotia on August 4th. It's really coming up quick. My God, it'll be 2 years or no, more. Well, no, not for me. I was there in November, very briefly, but it's been 2 years or more since I've seen my family. It's a little nuts. Okay, D major, starting on the D string. A 1, 2, and here we go. how do we do there, guys? Let's do it again right away. Why not? Ready, and... Okay, how's everybody feeling about that scale? Getting comfy? All right. Arpeggio. Start on the low A, and then it's going to be D. Ready, low A. One more of those. Ready, and... D major arpeggio. Okay, so I'd say we better play some nice Danny Boy. I think it would be lovely to start off with. All right? A bit of Irish. The luck of the Irish. I don't know if you guys remember Jim Belushi on Saturday Night Live, but you remember his rant? The luck of the Irish. The Irish aren't that lucky. I got to agree with him. Okay, let's give it a go. Danny Boy. 1, 2, 3. One more time, I'd say. right, how's everybody feeling? Not too bad? Okay. Now I mentioned there briefly before about with the intonation, the drop down exercises I was talking about. Now the reason that I get people to do drop down exercises for intonation is to get you more reliably getting the note in tune on the first try. A lot of people have trouble getting a tune in tune. So it's one thing to play a scale and arpeggio in tune, but when the eighth notes are flying, it's another thing. And so we have to work on trying to get the notes in tune on the first try. See that? Because we don't have a lot of time to tune them. And so the reason I thought about doing this after Danny Boy is that you guys might have noticed some notes that you had to tune while we were playing that. Did you? You did, Catherine? Yeah.
The C sharp.
The C sharp, yeah. Oh my God, it's a bugger, eh? It's a hard one. I was working with a guy on Monday night, last night, Rick, and he's playing, he's a glutton for punishment. He's trying to get Big John McNeil, Cape Breton's Welcome to Shetland, and Trip to Windsor. All in the key of A, all using the whole fiddle, especially that damn C sharp, okay? And the G sharp as well. So there's a couple of tricks to it. First of all, drop downs. So the way to practice a drop down, now say Catherine was talking about your C sharp, right? So let's take that for an example. So I'm going to play my G string, and then I'm going to plunk my finger down where I think C sharp should be. Now that was a pretty good attempt, but I'm a tiny bit flat. Okay, so I did what I thought was the right thing with the right pressure, and I came out a tiny bit flat. This time I'm going to do it again, but I'm going to put a little more pressure to hopefully rectify that. And there I am in tune. See that? Now I'm going to try to do it exactly the same way 3 or 4 or maybe 5 times. Usually it's 3. So I got 4 successful C sharps in a row on the first try there. You see that? Okay, that's what drop downs are. Now I'm going to do it on an easier note. I'm going to do the D on the A string. Now that was bang on the first try. That doesn't help you guys very much. I'm going to try it again. So that's a little flat. So now on my next try, I'm going to try to bring it in on its own, just like preemptively. That was a little sharp. One more. That's bang on the money. Now I'm going to try to do at least 3 of those. Oh, that last one was sharp, so that's enough of that. Okay? So, and in my experience, people get maybe 3 good ones or 4 good ones before it starts going awry. All right? And that's when you change to a different string or a different finger. Okay? Normally, I get people to start drop-down exercises on the 3rd finger notes, because even if you don't have your tuner, you can use your open string below to see if you're in tune. See that? Even if you don't have a tuner. So, or you listen for the ring of those notes. So I usually get people to start doing them on the 3rd finger notes and then move on from there. And that's what I think you guys should do. So this week, I want you to do drop downs on all the 3rd finger notes on your fiddle. That would be C. And I just mean not the stretched one like we were talking about before. Just the regular C. Then the G. Then the A. Or sorry, the D. And then the E. Also remember when you're doing these drop downs to try to put all 3 fingers down when you do it. Okay? It's going to help. You'd be surprised. If you get that third finger note in place, you'd be surprised. The two that go behind it will probably be in the right place as a result. See that? So put all 3 fingers down when you're doing it. Okay? Well, what's that there, Bill?
Why do you call it drop down?
Because you're dropping your finger down. See that? You're dropping it down and trying to get it kind of like precision bombing. Your first one is going to be not right, and you're going to use that to get the next 3 right. See what I mean by that? That's why I call them drop downs. Because you're dropping your finger down, trying to get it right the first try. Okay? Any other questions about that exercise? Anything at all? How did it go? Did it go okay? Did you get a few good ones? Were you able to get a few that were in tune on the first try?
So Dan, you said to put all 3 fingers down,
Yes.
but we don't play tunes like that, do we?
Oh, yeah.
If we're playing A3 or E3, all 3 fingers always go down?
Yes, absolutely. As much as you can, you know, because when you think about a tune, when you put down your third finger, usually the notes that come next are down the scale. And so that means your fingers are already there. You don't have to put them down. They're already there. See that? It takes a lot of the work and guesswork out of the equation when you keep all your fingers down as much as you can. Okay? Good way to do it, to get into the habit of it, is coming down a scale. See that? I always do that. And then I move the 2. And when I do put all 3 fingers down, I always put them down in first position, meaning that there's a gap between 1 and 2. And then if I have to play C natural, I just move the 2 back. See that? So whenever I put all 3 fingers down, it's always in first position. And yes, when I play tunes, also, same thing, much as I can. Watch this. I'll play you a tune. Watch this. See that? And then it's just basically, or I'll show you, Big John is a good one. See that? That's how I do that. And that it just means that very little work, lots of music. That's what fiddle players are all about, man. I haven't had a job in like 20 years. Like, hate work, and like, no, we don't like work, and we like having things happen for us. You know what I mean? And if you set your hand up right, and if you set your bow hand up right, it really is just a push and a nudge and a flick, and you got a tune going. See what I mean? Okay, good question, Heather. I'm glad you asked it. So yes, all 3 fingers down all the time. Let's do them one more time, the drop downs. We'll start on the G string. G to G3. Your first one's going to be awful, and then the next 3 are going to be perf, hopefully. Okay, ready, go. D string. A string. E string. Okay, how are we getting along? Oh, now a couple of people are nodding like they're getting somewhere. And I know that the people I've done this exercise with over the last couple of years have really pulled ahead quite far as a result of it. So I think you're going to see results quick if you do it that way. Any questions or problems with that?
I have a question. When you said about when you do the third finger to start, that you can tell you're in tune or something.
Yeah.
I don't understand what you mean by that.
Okay, so 2 things. So first of all, when you put the third finger on the E string, that makes an A. Okay? Yeah, same as your A string. See what I mean?
I was going the wrong way. I was thinking the other direction. I couldn't understand what you meant. But
Oh,
now
okay.
I get it.
So that's the first way, right? Now it doesn't work, unfortunately, for the G string because we don't have a C string unless you have a 5-string fiddle, which I do not recommend. They're terrible. Every one of them I've ever seen sound horrible. They're not really a violin and they're not really a fiddle, you know? Or a viola, I should say. Anyway, so we can't use it on that one, but on all the other ones we can. The other reference is the natural ring of the fiddle, which I've talked about before. So here it is. I'll use D for an example. Here's a D in tune. Oh, still ringing. See, nice bow, new string. You get a nice long ring. And here it is when it's out of tune. No ring. Okay? So that's the other way that you can tell with third finger notes if you're in tune or not, even if you don't have a tuner. Okay? Good question. Good question. I love it. Any other questions about that? Anything at all? Okay, good. So I'll leave you with it for this week, the drop downs, and we'll talk about them more next week because you guys will experience some stuff when you're doing them, okay? So that's Danny Boy, and I'm sure that's coming along really good as well. Now let's see about our jigs. So tonight I'd like to practice the Cock of the North, since we did not practice it last week. And then we'll practice John Allen's, and then we'll try putting them together into a set, okay? And then I'll talk about some options for next week. Learning a new tune next week would be really good. Let me just look at the calendar quick though before I say that, because life is starting to get caught. Oh no, we're good. Third, yeah, we're good for next week. So anyway, and then I'm also gonna put up on the YouTube channel Wild Mountain Time. You know that one? Oh, whoops. Right? Will you go, lassie, go, and we'll all go. So that's it's a very familiar song. Everybody knows it. It's beautiful. I love it. And it's another one of these songs where the verse and the chorus are the same melody. Okay? So it would be a really good one to get by ear. That's what I'm going to put up on the YouTube channel for next time. Wild Mountain Time. I have to figure out a good friendly key that's going to work for everybody without having to do any weird contortionist moves on the fiddle. But that's what I'll be putting up there. So, okay. So now, before we tackle the jigs, let's practice A major. Let's do our A major scale in arpeggio. It's a lot different than the key of D. Where's my tuner at? Get back here, tuner. I need you. You're my crutch. Okay, here we go. Ready, and... Okay, we better do it again. A requires extra work. Ready? A. arpeggio. All right, how's everybody feeling about A? Nice and stretchy? Okay, that's good. So, Cock of the North. That's the right one, right? Yeah. Auntie Mary had a canary. Got it. Okay, so I'm going to get the music up here just so I don't confuse anybody. And we're going to do it a few hundred times. Where is it?
Page 7.
Thank you. I'm happy that I made that mistake though, because I swear to God, she's probably still laughing after telling me that this morning at her lesson. She found that to be so funny, and she needs a laugh because her sister-in-law just died. That's why she's in Cape Breton. Okay, here we go. Nice and easy. 1, 2, 3. that looked pretty good. Not very many frustrated faces. And I'm enjoying the bow so much, so I'm doing good over here. How are we feeling, everybody? Everybody able to get from one end to the other okay? That's great. Now you know what that means. Faster. Okay? So let's see if we can try and kind of like... Let's see what happens at that speed, okay? And if anything does happen, just leave your comrade to die by the side of the road and keep going. You can't help him. He's already gone, okay? Just hope for the next time around. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. How'd we do? Doing good? Anybody have trouble at that speed? Okay, take a breather. We're doing it again.
Got a question.
Oh, yeah.
The 3 notes just before do 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 do. Do you always slur them in an up bow, or is that whatever?
I often do, yeah, because they're pickup notes, and I always slur my pickup notes in a big up bow. Oh, whoops. Jeez, I'm going to ruin this bow. I always slur my pickup notes so I can come down with a good, strong downbeat, eh? Yeah, I think it might work for you there, Catherine. Any other questions? Anything at all before we try even faster?
Dan, can you demo a slur again, please?
Sure. So Catherine was talking about the E, F, G before I play the second part, and it just means I play E, F, and G in the up bow. See that? All 3 notes in one bow. That's a slur, okay? It's kind of like slurred speech when you say, you know, I'm going to 82 Fairbank Avenue, but it's actually one word and the cab driver doesn't know what you're talking about because you had 10 pints of Guinness. It's like that, okay? 3 notes in one bow. Speaking of which, we had a great session at Dorakio on Friday. It was the first North Atlantic Drift session back to Dorakio since the pandemic, since last summer. And it was even more relaxed because everybody there was double vaxxed. Everybody at the session was double vaxxed. And so we had flutes and tin whistles, and it lasted from 8:30 at night until I left at approximately 3 in the morning. So it was quite a night and quite a time. It was very exciting to think that we could get back to having a few tunes. My God. But anyway, there might have been a little bit of slurred speech there that night. Okay, that's how you do it. That's how you do the slur. Okay, everybody, now that you've had a breather and I've distracted you, let's try it faster. It's going to be about this speed now. One, 2, 3. along okay at that speed? Excellent. Very, very good. Okay, now let's try the John Allen. Okay, that's all right. It'll get there. Don't worry. Now let's try John Allen's. Okay, since you guys diligently practiced it last week, whether I wanted you to or not. So let's try that, and let's work that up a little bit to maybe to that tempo, and then we'll talk about putting them together. So let's start at about... just nice and relaxed there. Hopefully you're starting to hear some of this double stop stuff that I put in to my tunes. Like for instance, when I'm playing Cock of the North. See that? So the high A I played with the A string. Really nice double stop. And then the open E. And then when I play the F, I play that with the A string too. It's lovely. See that? So that's one of the uses of double stops. Very handy in our music and a good way to punctuate it. And then when I'm thinking about John Allen's jig, you can see where I used them there too. My bow is on 2 strings for a lot of that. See that? Very fiddly sounding, very Scotchy sounding. It's great to do. Anyway, John Allen's jig. Nice and slow to remember it. Ready, and... Okay. How are people feeling about that one? Is it coming back? That's good. Can we try it a bit faster? Might even be better. Tune like this, you get going with that da 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 da. If you're going slow, it seems endless and torturous when you're doing that lick. And it keeps coming back, right? Over and over, again and again. When you're going faster, it makes a lot more sense. So why don't we try going just a bit faster? Let's try going like this. Let's try. Let's just see what happens, all right? Leave your dead comrades at the side of the road. 1, 2, 3, and... Looking good, looking hopeful. That's good, that's good. So now we're going to put them together. Always the question, which one should come first, you know? So if we did that one first, so... That's pretty nice. I love the way they flow together. You hear that? How the one tune flows into the other quite nicely. Now, what if we did it the other way around? So, I like the other way better. Too much space in this one. Hey, you notice that? And that sometimes is the case when you have a tune that ends with a long note and one that starts with a long note, it ends up with a lot of space. Okay? So I'd rather play John Allen's Jig first. Okay? So let me show you what that transition's going to sound like once more. So... Now, do you notice how, since we put these two tunes together, that has eliminated the need for the two pickup notes, the E and the D. See how that works? And when you put tunes together, that's very often the case. Sometimes it doesn't work out. Sometimes you have to replace the last little few notes of the first tune with the pickup for the next tune. Okay? But that's not the case here. Here we can just eliminate that pickup altogether and use the John Allen's Jig as our pickup. Okay? So I'll show you one more time. Whoops, wrong tune. Sorry. That's what what the seam's going to sound like, all right? So let's try it. Let's try John Allen's 2 times. I'm sorry, my God. And then Cock of the North 2 times. And don't stop for any reason. We'll just barrel right on through and see what happens, eh? All right. 1, 2, 3, and... oh yeah, okay. 1, 2, 3, and... Now that looked pretty good. I only saw people kind of have to stop a couple of times there. How did it go? How does everybody feel? Was it okay? Did the seam go okay?
Supposed to sound.
What's that now?
It was a bit fast.
I found it a bit fast? Okay, all right. Well, yeah, we can try it a little bit slower. I thought that for John Allen's, it was probably okay. When I got to the Cock of the North, I thought that I might be pushing it a little tiny bit, but I'm a McDonald, and so I was, that's my nature, is to push it, you know what I mean? Unfortunately, my kids got the same damn thing. But anyway, so we'll try it again. We'll try it a little bit slower, okay? We'll see if we can make it work that way, all right? So just roll out your arms, whatever you got to do, and we'll try her one more time. Oh, God. Keep banging my fiddle because I don't usually have a desk. God. Okay, one more time there, John Allen's, and a little bit slower. Ready, And... more successful, I have to say. Does that feel more comfortable at that tempo? Yeah, that's great. So we'll try to increase the tempo, of course, but if it's working at that one, keep practicing it at the tempo that it works at. Remember Louis Armstrong's saying, you have to practice things at a speed where you have a chance of getting it right. Okay, so now let's see. For next week, I've been thinking about hornpipes. We haven't done a hornpipe yet. Now, Deborah is cringing. And that's because Deborah is from New Brunswick, where hornpipes are, because we have there's two different kinds of hornpipes. That's the thing. So when I was growing up in Cape Breton, we played hornpipes. But they didn't sound like what I got here in Toronto from the Irish people, you know? Hornpipes here in Toronto, the Irish style, are really, really nice. They're very... they have a really nice rhythm, and they're based on a dance. See, that's the thing. They're based on a solo step dance for a competition. And usually it's one girl or a guy, it's usually a girl, and you play a hornpipe, and she does all these crazy triplet-based steps to it. Tickety, 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 tickety. It's insane. It's exhausting just looking at it, you know? And so the rhythm of the hornpipe is actually kind of not that fast in the Irish tradition and very swung. So it sounds like this. That's an Irish hornpipe, see? And you can almost hear the girl in her hard shoes going clickety clackety clickety clackety tickety 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 da tickety da. See that? That's how that works. Like that. And that's an Irish hornpipe. And they're very forgiving, really. They're not that hard. One of the first ones that people learn over in Ireland is Off to California. Very nice, gentle, rhythmic little tune, not too hard. The reason Deborah was cringing is because in Cape Breton and the Maritime provinces, hornpipes sound like this. Deborah? And that's because of the 1,000 Fiddle Tunes book. So you see this book here, the 1,000 Fiddle Tunes. Has anybody ever seen this book before? No. Oh, you should all get it if you can. I don't know where you get it. I think maybe Paul Cranford's website, cranfordpub.ca. Publications, cranfordpublications.ca. But this book came out in... When was it now? It was like mid 1800s, and it's got everything. It's got Scottish, it's got Irish, it's got American, it's got all the fiddle tunes you can imagine. But the whole section called hornpipes, which is these ones. You see how they tried to get so many tunes into one book in those typesetting days? So small. Oh my God. But it's because they were low on paper and ink and everything, so they had to get them all in. But these are all called hornpipes. Here's one that I love. I open it to the page, and it's the ball and pin hornpipe. See that? They're lovely, but they're hard. They're kind of like, they consider them to be reels on steroids. You know, that's kind of a Cape Breton or East Coast hornpipe is like that, okay? So we're not going to do one of those, Deborah. Don't worry. Maybe someday. Maybe someday. The first one I played there, that was called the Saratoga hornpipe, and it's in this book, you know. So we're going to do the Irish ones because they're lovely. and they're very common. That one that I played Off to California, I think I played that tune in 10 different countries, like even in Germany, you know, like, because you got to remember, Irish and Scottish music are found, especially Irish, are found the world over. My dad was in Seoul, Korea, because he was a Kia dealer for a long time. My family still is. And he went over there for something, I can't remember what, and he said he was walking down the street in Seoul, and he heard flute and fiddle trying to play Morrison's Jig. And he's like, what the? And he looks, and there's a bar, and it's called O'Kim's. And he opens the door, and he goes in, and sure enough, there's these two Korean guys, flute and fiddle, trying to play Morrison's Jig. So you can find this music and I've played in 12 different countries, and not one of them have I not been able to find an Irish session. Can you believe that? Like, Germany, Netherlands, Belgium. I had a great set of tunes in Belgium. Like, it just seems to be all over the world you can find these tunes. Off to California, I think I've played in 10 different countries at different sessions. So popular, so widely known. So I think that would be a great one to do next week, Off to California. Let me play you the whole thing here in our last few minutes. You guys worked hard tonight, so. That's the one. I think we'll do that one. Eh? It's like, I can tell from your guys' faces that it's already a little familiar. I mean, it does help that the last lick of it is the end of Christmas in Killarney. And all of the folks at home. I think that'll help. So that's what we'll do. So I'll put that up on the YouTube channel. So your jobs this week are to practice the drop downs that I was talking about. Okay? Starting with the third finger. And I will also put those on the YouTube. All right? I'll demonstrate them. And then the last one, I'll play the note that you're going for nice and strong and long so you can use it to tune to. So that's the first thing you're going to do. Drop downs. Third finger. The second thing you're going to do is double stops. Okay, you're going to start on the G, join the D, off you go. Start on the D, join the A, off you go. Start on the A, join the E, off you go. And then the other way around, the up bows. Okay, and we're going to talk about them because you're going to have lots to talk about. If you spend a week trying to do that, you're going to have lots to talk to me about and perhaps complain at me about. So we will do that next week, okay? And then the other thing is Wild Mountain Time. And what do you call it there? The hornpipe that I'll put up on the website. And that's just for you guys to get familiar with, because we'll start from scratch with it next week, and I'll send you a good, reliable version of the tune as well before then. Okay? Alrighty. Any questions or comments before we're done?
Yeah, me.
Yes.
As usual. So even though you're going to Cape Breton, classes will be as normal for August?
I'm pretty sure. Me and Jen are having a business meeting tomorrow to actually map out our trip and where we're going to be and stuff, because I'm actually only going to be in Cape Breton for a few days. Mostly we're going to see Jennifer's parents who live in Antigonish. They retired there years ago, and she hasn't seen them in over 2 years. So that's where we're kind of going to be most of the time. They have very good internet there, no problems at all. So there shouldn't be a problem, but I'm going to have a meeting with Jen, and when I email you guys, if there is any Tuesdays I can't do, it will be on that email. So you can see when we do or don't have class. And if there's not going to be a class, I'll make a video. I'll make a practice video. And this time I'll double check the tune titles. Alrighty? Okay, thanks a lot, everybody. Great night tonight. Great work. I hope your arms aren't sore. We'll see you next week.
Thanks, Dan.
Thanks again. Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.